Penn State Sports Night. I'm your host, Nicole Barros, alongside Tyler Nunez, Berti and Anna Pitingolo. So we have a lot to talk about, really good episode for you guys, but let's start off with the NFL Combine. So we had a couple Penn State alums actually in the Combine, Mike Hall, Jesse James. So what did you guys think of their performances?
Mike Hall and Jesse James definitely stood out among the pack. Mike Hall, he outbunched all the Penn Staters with 31, and was second overall in the Combine. And Jesse James, he was at the top of the pack in most of the tight end categories, and besides his 40 time, he did pretty well overall.
Yeah, I really liked what Jesse James did in the Combine. He did his 26 reps, and $153 per rep went to uplifting athletes. So he totaled $5,435 for a charity, which I think is pretty awesome to do for a
Yeah,
tight end.
Jesse James had a really impressive Combine. His 10.1-foot broad jump was #1 for tight ends, and going into the Combine, he was a top 5 tight end prospect. So scouts were saying that he really helped his draft stock with his Combine results.
Yeah, definitely. And then standouts. So, of course, I'm calling it the leap of faith. Byron Jones, his jump. You guys want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure, let's just go into it. So the former record for standing long jump was 11 feet 7 inches. Byron Jones shattered it, 12 feet 3 inches. So congratulations, he gets that nice record. He also did a 44.5-inch vertical, which is very impressive. But these are just Combine activities. I don't know how they're going to play out into the field, so I really want to see that. I want to see field action. I'm going to be very interested in his pro day.
Well, I think this definitely ups his draft stock a lot. Like you said, he had the 44.5-foot or inch vertical jump, and it was second in the Combine, only behind Georgia's Chris Connolly.
Yep. And
just the fact that he has the incredible broad jump number, that says a lot about his leg strength, and it can definitely translate onto the field well.
Yeah, I think he was a little under the radar before the Combine, but with those 2 performances, I think scouts are going to look a lot more closely at him. And I just want to go back to that broad jump. The world record was 12 feet 2 inches, and he was an inch over that. I just think that's absolutely incredible to see that at the NFL Combine. I mean, kudos to him. That was just awesome.
So Marcus Mariota and Jameis Winston, 2 hot names. What do you guys think? Who do you think is the better NFL prospect?
I'll say Winston is definitely the best prospect in terms of his throwing strength. It's incredible, just the mechanics he has and how he's able to whip that ball. But as far as his off-field concerns go, we all know he loves his crab legs. That's definitely a concern for NFL drafters. And as far as him versus Mariota, I think teams are kind of reverting away from the running quarterback now. That Kaepernick, RG3, Cam Newton, Manziel, they all had down years this year. And I think they're definitely going to go towards someone who's more of a thrower and more solid.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Winston definitely threw better than Mariota at the Combine. And also I want to point out that Mariota at Oregon, they had such a specific system that he worked so well under. I think it's going to be difficult for him to translate that into NFL systems.
I really think both players are going to turn out to be decent NFL prospects. It really depends on who drafts who. I think if Winston goes to the Buccaneers, I think is what they were saying for the first pick, he's going to have a lot of support on the offense with young Mike Evans. He's going to have a young coach in Jay Gruden. He could really do something in Tampa Bay. So I think that's a good positive for Jameis Winston. Marcus Mariota, he's a great athlete, very talented. He's got that dual threat, but teams are looking away from it, so I really don't know what's going to happen with him.
Right. Okay. A lot of good points. And kind of switching from Combine, free agency. I know you guys had a lot to say about this.
As far as free agency goes, there's a lot of big decisions that need to be made, especially with the Dallas Cowboys. They got to choose Dez Bryant, DeMarco Murray, maybe both if they can do that. Personally, I'd like to see them slap the franchise tag on Dez. Maybe save some money toward another better player, but if they can get DeMarco for cheaper than what they want, then that'd be great. But running backs are kind of like a dime a dozen now, and he hasn't been in a full NFL season without injury yet. So really it's up to the Cowboys whether they want to risk that money or not.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that point. I think they should definitely focus Dez Bryant first and then maybe go after DeMarco Murray if they can. Otherwise, just let him go because there are other running backs out there. They're younger. I know they have Joseph Randle, he's a young guy. He's going to be a decent running back. They could hold with him for a while. But looking at the Packers, they had a lot of guys that are going to be released or could be released that they wanted to sign. Cobb is a big name, Randall Cobb, wide receiver. They're looking to sign him for a long-term deal. He might want a little too much money. I don't know what's going to happen there, but the Packers really like to sign people, re-sign their players that they already know are good. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen with the Packers there.
Also can't forget about Adrian Peterson. What's going to happen with him?
Oh, man, Adrian Peterson. So ESPN reported today that his agent said Adrian Peterson will never play with the Vikings again. So, I mean,
Bold statement.
It's a bold statement. And if it holds true, then where's Adrian going to go? He could go to the Cowboys. That could be a great pickup.
Jerry Jones wants him.
That's
Jerry
true.
Jones likes to star his players. Definitely.
He really does. He loves star players. So Adrian Peterson, Dez Bryant for the Cowboys, that could be a really terrible matchup for defenses.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely. So now we're going to kind of switch gears into, this is Penn State Sports Night, so we're going to talk a little bit about Penn State sports, starting out with men's hockey. So this past week they defeated number 17 Minnesota, a really big win for them. So what do you guys think of the team right now in that game?
I think they definitely look good coming off the win on Saturday. They had kind of a slip-up on Friday where they ended up losing their third straight once facing Minnesota, but it was a close game. After the first period, they kind of lost their luster, but they came back, and Saturday they adjusted. They scored a lot of goals as opposed to getting shut down to only one on Friday, and they ended up looking a lot better and getting the overtime win.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with you there. Yeah, I really thought they were going to have a slump going in, like a confidence slump going into Saturday's game after the loss. But they came out strong, and I think it was really on Coach Guy there. He made some nice adjustments, and he got his team the win, so I mean, that's always positive.
Yeah, and looking at this team, this is only their second year as a D1 team, and you know, I always say Minnesota is like the hockey capital of America. So to see them come out and defeat a strong Minnesota team, I think that speaks volumes for their program.
Definitely. So right now they're ranked number 25 by RPI. Do you guys think they have a chance at the NCAA tournament?
I think they definitely have a chance because they basically control their own destiny with their schedule remaining. They've got this series coming up against Ohio State. Then they've got Michigan, which was tied with Minnesota for the top of the division. And then you've also got Minnesota, which they just came off a series with. If they can beat Michigan and Minnesota, either split the series or more importantly, sweep them, that would be huge, and they would be able to jump up in the standings and get a giant confidence boost into the tournament.
Yeah, so you guys were actually at the game this past weekend. So we're going to show you a package right now from Ryan and Tyler of the men's hockey game.
Now that the final stretch of the Penn State men's hockey season is underway, the Nittany Lions run into the Minnesota Gophers, who sit atop the Big Ten alongside Michigan, who they just swept in a 2-game series. Penn State themselves is coming off a 2-game slide, where they lost a 2-game series to Michigan State.
Both teams were off to an aggressive start, with each team having high numbers in shots and body checks. But it was Penn State that drew first blood as David Goodwin scores the assist by Eric Audio midway through the first. Minnesota adjusted well in the second period, where they scored 2 goals to gain the upper hand as they outplayed Penn State the remainder of the game and came out with the 1-score victory.
With the win tonight, the Golden Gophers separate themselves further from Penn State in the standings. The two teams will face off again tomorrow in what is a must-win for Penn State.
The Nittany Lions will be having its most important matchups of the year down the stretch, with 3 more games remaining against Minnesota. The winner of the season series could very well end up taking home the Big Ten crown. Signing off for PSSN, I'm Ryan Berti.
Welcome back. So we're kind of going to keep going with Penn State men's hockey there. A big name in the NCAA hockey is Casey Bailey. He's drawing a lot of NHL interest. What do you guys think of him?
Well, from the game that me and Ryan went to, he had a really strong game. He did have a few penalties early on, but he came back from that, and he had a solid game, and I really liked what I saw out of him. So, I mean, he's had 10 multi-scoring games, so I think that's really big for him.
Yeah, on top of that, he's tied for 5th in the NCAA in goals, which is huge. And he's a great shooter, of course. With that goal total, you have to be. And he packs a lot of power into his shots, and he's also got some finesse, which could really translate into the league.
Yeah, and he's just how important he's been to this team. He's really put them on the back when they've been on his back when they've been struggling, and it's really helped them win some of those close games.
Yeah, it's very interesting just because last year, like we said, it was their first year as a Division I team, and then here they are all of a sudden actually ranked, and Casey Bailey is definitely helping in that, I think. So now we're going to switch to Penn State men's basketball. DJ Newbill, 29 points against Wisconsin. This was the second time playing them this season. Honestly, I mean, a lot of people criticize the team for not really supporting him offensively. How do you guys think that game was and DJ's performance?
That kid needs help. Let's be real. He needs help.
Definitely.
Talking about putting the team on your back, DJ Newbill has single-handedly carried this Penn State basketball team on his back the entire season. Like you said, 29 points against Wisconsin. The entire first half, it was only him scoring for 15 minutes. They didn't have another Penn Stater score until 5 minutes left in the first half. That is just unthinkable. You cannot have that and expect to win basketball games. I mean, it just shows you that this Penn State team, as great as they were at the beginning of the season, they're still struggling.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. And then they just lost to Northwestern, another Big Ten team, 60-39. That I don't even know what to say about that game.
Yeah, they just got shut down offensively for sure. The defense of Northwestern, after giving up a bunch of three-pointers in the first quarter, they came back, they adjusted, and they limited Penn State's offense a lot, especially DJ Newbill, who he's averaging 21.1 points per game. They held him to only 3 for the entire game, and that was huge, and that's exactly what Northwestern did to get the win.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you guys think turnovers are a problem?
Turnovers are definitely a problem. You can't turn the ball over multiple times in a game and expect to win. I mean, it's just that simple. Defense has to play better. Offense has to play better. It's a team sport. You can't turn it over.
Yeah, turnovers have been plaguing them all season. Against Northwestern, they had 14 turnovers compared to Northwestern's 9. And like you said, you cannot expect to win good basketball games when you're playing like that.
Exactly. Definitely a big change from the beginning of the season with this team. So Scott Cikowski and Mike Gilbert actually were at the Wisconsin game and have a package for you.
Penn State hosts conference foe and top 5 Wisconsin tonight as they look to get some momentum going heading into the Big Ten tournament.
DJ Newbill is the leading scorer in the Big Ten, averaging just over 20 points per game, and he was lighting it up against the national championship contending Badgers. The senior guard had 29 points in the game, going 13 of 21 from the field. He did most of his damage by driving to the basket, taking it right to the heart of the Wisconsin defense. Other than Newbill, Penn State shot under 25% from the field for a total of just 18 points. Newbill accounted for over 60% of the scoring, but his efforts were not enough to stop the strong starting 5 of Wisconsin. Senior forward and Wooden Award hopeful Frank Kaminsky was forced to do a lot of his scoring from the foul line, but Sam Decker and Nigel Hayes picked up the slack. The two went a combined 13 of 20 from the field, scoring a total of 31 points. Decker led Wisconsin with 22 points in the contest, and Hayes grabbed a team-high 13 rebounds. The Badgers beat the Nittany Lions 55-47, improving their winning streak to 9 games.
Wisconsin lived up to their ranking, looking like a team poised to make a run deep into the NCAA tournament. They improved their record to 24-2 overall. Penn State loses their 9th game by single digits in the Big Ten. Their next game will be at Northwestern on Saturday. For PSN News, I'm Scott Cikowski.
So, we're going to talk about a little bit about MLB stuff right now. A big thing in the news, A-Rod's letter of apology. What did you guys think of that?
I thought it was really interesting that he chose to write it out. I think it shows a little more personal side, but at the same time, you know, he's taking a big risk writing that letter because a lot of people are never going to forgive him, and he's someone that people love to hate, and I don't think this is going to change that at all.
Yeah. I personally, I like it. I think it wasn't necessary. So the apology letter, it's a little more, I don't know what the word is for it right now. It's just more honest, I would say, because he didn't need to do an apology letter. So coming out and actually writing it and saying it, I think it would have a nice impact on the people that wanted to support him, but were just unsure about the whole situation. So I like it.
I mean, it never hurts to apologize, but I personally think it's a few years too late. I mean, like, my view on him is still unchanged. It's nice that he wrote that for the fans and all that. Just to, I guess it makes his image look a little better as he's trying to come back. Not sure if he'll ever actually get to play. Maybe a few pinch hitting opportunities, but he won't be a starter again. And I mean, I think it just would have been best if he would have apologized at first when he was acquitted and not just played a bunch of games dodging around the truth.
Yeah, I definitely think it's just a little too late. So that wraps it up for Penn State Sports Night tonight. Alongside Tyler Nunez, Berti and Anna Pitingolo, and I'm Nicole Barros. Have a good night.